Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's great to see you in the chairman's seat there. Good morning. Thanks to our witnesses for being here and also for your expert testimonies this morning on the Belt and Road Initiative. You guys may not know this, but the committee does, and a lot of the public does. We've now held more than a dozen hearings on this committee. And this one, I think in particular, brings up that burning question: does the Chinese Communist Party aspire world domination? From massive infrastructure projects, global resource wars, to high-tech surveillance technologies, truly the CCP is exporting economic coercion and authoritarian capitalism. Kind of a lightning round question. I want each of the witnesses to describe the Belt and Road Initiative in one sentence.
I'll go first. It's a very sophisticated strategic effort to put China in a dominant position in the world.
Very good.
Congressman, it's seductive. It's a seductive, positive, forward-looking agenda that speaks to the hopes and aspirations of developing countries. If we don't have an answer to it, they're going to take their business to the CCP.
It is a effort to help Chinese companies win commercial advantages overseas. It's also a program to solve domestic economic problems inside China.
Good. Not a trick question. Just wanted to get your quick thoughts on that perspective. Mr. Trulio, in your written testimony, you expressed how there's no simple answer to the question of who's in charge of addressing the challenges posed by the BRI. So let me ask you, how would you recommend we reorganize all these different agencies tasked with international trade and develop to counter the BRI? And I'm a farmer, a third-generation farmer, so in your answer, would you please touch on the role of the USDA in these efforts, because we know firsthand how important it is that we need to stand up to the CCP.
Yeah, absolutely, Congressman, and thank you for the question. In fact, in the written testimony which you referenced, I actually listed the Department of Agriculture first. It's one of a dozen departments and agencies that are players on the field here. And look, this is nobody came up with this approach deliberately. This is a problem decades in the making. We have a very robust interagency team, and they're all off doing things in a spirit of goodwill and according to their missions. But people respond to incentives, right? So the incentives are for them to work in their silo, and we have not done enough as a country and as a government to incentivize that behavior. So one of the very concrete steps is there needs to be an executive branch strategy on economic competition. That is going to force out issues of trade-offs, who's in the lead, what are the objectives, what are the specific courses of action, what should be resourced and what shouldn't be resourced. Let's reevaluate what these decades-long, in some cases, programs, what are they actually, what's the return on investment there? And then I think it's an opportunity for Congress and the executive to designate or further empower certain natural lead departments and agencies. So obviously the State Department and USTR play critical roles here, but so does Commerce and so does Treasury. How robustly resourced is Commerce relative to its really important mission? That's a problem right now, and again, it's been decades in the making. So I think the strategy forces that out, but congressional oversight will really help focus in on solutions.
Appreciate that. Mr. Rundy, as you know, China has recently reformed the BRI lending strategies based on, I think, legitimate accusations of debt trap diplomacy and certainly unsustainable business models following the 2015 stock market sell-off, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic, which both derailed some of their efforts in solvency as well as lost tremendous project value. Do you think some of their recent reforms, referred to as BRI 2.0, will actually change any of their predatory lending practices?
So I thought Dr. Parks's testimony was very helpful in that regard. The CCP is smart. I don't like them, but they're smart.
They are.
And so I just think they do respond to these sorts of complaints. Their tendency will be to kind of return to what they were doing originally, but they are having to respond to these challenges. And so I think I think Dr. Parks' point about that we need to not respond to BRI 1.0, we need to respond to BRI 2.0 is on point, sir.
Good. And Mr. Chairman, just real quickly, I'd like to commend Dr. Parks and his team. Your researchers pieced together the complex web of BRI investments, and that's going to continue to be a very important resource that help measure and guide our strategic responses. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.